Yeah, Ankur, I think you should also now, you can just generate a poll over there. Rohit, you can put down your hand. So all your responses will be anonymous. This is only for us to get a feeling of.
So JK, what is the option for that? Creating a poll from?
So that activities thing, na? The triangle, circle, and square
Okay,
on the right.
activities. Yeah,
Yeah.
there I will see it.
Yeah.
Poll is there.
So you have to launch the poll.
So just one question. Rate
Yeah,
the
the
difficulty.
difficulty level of system commands. So what we are asking is, I think you have now covered bash, sed, awk, all these things put together. So when we actually ask about system commands as a whole, we are looking at all
So
these three.
should I mention that ignore the difficulty of question paper just as a on the course level or as a
At a
whole?
course level. So at a course level. No, so we will mention that now to everyone, right? So
Yeah,
we just want to look at, we are not worried
not
about,
the test.
yeah, not the QPs, not the OPPs. We are asking you about system commands in general. See, why this is important is the difficulty that you say. I mean, it is in spite of all the assessment component of this course. So we want to understand your basic uh, affinity towards a course called the fundamental aspects of system commands. Okay. So if you see in a minute, a poll will be launched and you will see a notification coming on your so if whatever device you are in, you will see a notification in it. If you are using a mobile device, please look, just look at the options. There will be a poll that is going to come over there. Ankur, you can launch the poll. Yeah, so you see that a new poll has been launched. Rate the difficulty of system commands course on a scale of 1 to 5. Can we have a quick response? So 1 means very easy, not at all difficult. 5 means very difficult. Okay. So as is seen from the poll, none of your identifying details will be shown to anyone else. Okay, only we will know who voted for which one. Ankur, how many votes have we received?
35 as of now.
Yeah, so there are a total of 50 to 50 of you. If you could spend just a minute.
Yeah, 50 students around.
Yeah.
Who are us? Yeah, so can you see the results? Check it. No.
No, you will have to click on show results. Then only everyone will be able to see.
Yes, then everyone will be able to. Let me show it then.
Yeah.
Now, can you see it?
Yes, I'm able to see it now.
Okay.
So you have more people in from 3 to 5. So there are
Yes,
some
3 to
neutral
5.
guys. But yeah, if you look at neutral being slightly not so easy, I would say a majority of you are saying that system commands are slightly difficult. I think Ankur, I think you have your job cut out. You can now formally start the session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, JK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So, firstly, I wanted to discuss with you what you face difficulty in, and based on that, we will take this session further. Okay. So, so you guys can speak. You guys can switch on your mics whenever you want to speak, and Go ahead. So my question is like, what in OPP1 it was only bash. So firstly, let's discuss about bash. What difficulties you are facing? Anybody? Like while you program, are you facing difficulty with the logic, with the syntax, with executing it, or you are not getting
So
the question, the problem statement is not clear, whatever? Yes, Mr. Thakur.
yeah, so while formulating the code or the logic, we are not able to basically put it in a sentence. Like we know what to do, but we don't know how to put it there.
Can you elaborate a bit more?
Like if we are given a paragraph and we want to work on it, right? So
Yes.
like we are basically forming the logic in our mind, but while putting it in the sentence, we are not able to basically remember everything. Like the first command should be this, then we should go from this to this, and this should be this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would happen if there are more than one operations to be done. Okay. And
Yeah.
in the cases where you have to use for loop or state if statements and all those things. So one is response from is related to syntax, and there are a couple of people posting same here. Yeah. So this is expected that you guys will face issues with syntax if the practice is less. Definitely. So I will tell you what the problem is and how to counter it. So the problem is the syntax of Bash is uh, a bit different than the regular high-level programming languages because this is a scripting language. This is not a full-fledged programming language. This was developed as a scripting language, and it's a very old scripting language where a lot of incremental things have been added. And here it is a Bash shell scripting is it designed to do system level works also. Okay, on files and all the system level tasks that you want to accomplish. So in that way you can execute any command that can directly manipulate the configuration of your system, very close to operating system, all the commands. Okay, so that is why the one thing is that you can execute the commands directly as it is. So if you know the command, you put it in bash script, it will execute as it is. There's no extra uh, learning for syntax required there. You just need to learn how to run the commands, and you just need to know how to what commands will do serve what purpose. The second thing comes is about the syntax of conditions and loops. So although the keywords are same for if, but how you start the block for the loop or for the statement is different. How do you use the brackets are different now, and there are a lot of ways you can use the brackets. So for example, I will give you for if statement. Okay, let me share my screen that could be useful.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you just give a brief description as you were saying now about the brackets? I'm very much
Yeah,
confused
that's
where
what
we are
I'm saying.
using those
Yeah,
double
yeah, I
curly
know.
brackets and double square brackets, where single square brackets is very much confused.
Sure, sure. And I would request you guys to practice along. Open a local shell or whatever. Okay. So yeah. See, let's just first discuss about the square brackets. The brackets that we can use in if condition. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So there is this one option is this bracket, single brackets and double square brackets. Okay. Now you guys would be confused which one to use. So I would say that stick to any one. The newer version is the double square brackets. The older version is the single square brackets. But there is only very few things that you can do with double square bracket, that is regular expression check. Otherwise, you can do everything, but only there's a slight difference in how you can do. That's why either you stick to one first so that you don't get confused during exams. And if you do a lot of practice, you can learn both. Okay, but better to stick to one, and the key to say, learning the syntax is practice the problems as much as you can. And I would say focus on very easy problems. To learn the syntax, you have to first focus on the easy problems so that you don't get stuck in the logic and you learn the syntax. Otherwise, you will be stuck in the logic, and you would be fixing errors in the logic of some program of your script. Okay, so for example, if you want to check if variable is equal to 0. So there is a lot of space issues also that you need to take care in. Not very important in other programming languages, but here you have to take care of that. So whenever you face, whenever you see any errors, so you have to think in all these terms. So that's what I'm saying. If you practice a lot, you will get to know all these things very easily. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is one way. Now the problem is, let's see. So this is now run it. Okay. So got it. Now it is not very easy if you have not done a lot of practice and you just assume that you know some other programming language, and just that instead of curly braces here you have to print write then and fi, then to start the if block and fi to close it. If you just think in those terms, you may face this difficulty directly at the exam time. So the key, that's what I'm saying, the key is the practice. You have to practice, because just one space here will give you an error. Just one space missing will give you an error. That is very important. Okay. The other and spaces are very important in other statements also. I will show you that. So suppose if you don't take it the input from std in, you directly declare the variable to be 0. Okay. Now you run it, it will run. I have fixed the space here also, and here this statement is correct. Variable is 0. But if it would have been C or Python, variable equal to 0, if you put a space before equal to or after equal to, it works. But here it does not. This is how strict syntax this language, this bash has. Okay, so these things you may be able to solve the question completely, but these things may like reduce your marks a lot. In your test cases won't pass, and because you would be assuming that you know other programming languages and this works there, why is it not working? And you may be thinking in those terms. But this is not about logic I'm talking here. This is about syntax. And once you practice at least 10 questions, just practice easy questions. Whatever. Calculate sum of two numbers. Take those numbers from stdin, or you take it as command line arguments. So I would say in the bash assignment grps, we have specifically put the problems, they are named as 1a 1b. So we have intentionally named as a b c d and not 1 2 3 4. So there are 4 5 problems, 1a 1b 1c, like that, and then the grpa 2 starts. So those are very easy problems, and we have added those so that you guys learn syntax. So if you can practice easy problems by yourself, that also works. But not, if not, then go there, practice some problems from there, then there are a lot of easy problems in the that we have added in the on the Replit in the that we use in solve with us sessions. So from there also you can practice them, and once you get a bit more comfortable with syntax, you guys can go ahead. Okay, now let's come back to the bracket thing. Now if you use double square brackets, it works fine. It is same. 0, this is 0. If you give something else, it won't print anything. Okay, you can add a else statement also here, but that's not the point. We are discussing about the brackets currently. Now if you want to print this value is 0 or 1, only two values we need to check. Okay, so you can do it like this. Okay, let's print something in else so that and please interrupt me in between if you have any doubts, guys. Failed. Okay, now let's run it again. Okay, now I will tell you this is one of the major differences between single square brackets and double square brackets. So if you want to use OR with single square brackets, this will give an syntax error, because in the single square brackets, the syntax to use OR and AND is to use the brackets again. So these are the small differences, and these are the things I just wanted to show you that these are very simple concepts, but you need a lot of practice to get to know these things. Okay, so this is one difference between single square brackets and double square brackets. Okay, guys, did you get it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now I will tell you one more very important thing. So if you guys are comfortable with C syntax, so there is a way you can use syntax similar to C using this one, double parenthesis. Okay. Firstly, now for that to for us to come to that, let's first discuss what if you use EQ. Okay, one more thing before that. So if we are comparing some string, okay, so so this comparison equal to, yeah, one more important point. So in other programming languages, this double equal to and less than equal to, these operators are used for string as well as and mostly used for arithmetic comparisons. But in bash it is a bit different. For arithmetic comparisons we have like EQ, any. Okay, you guys would find that easily in the cheat sheet. Okay, so here these operators are string operators, and for numerical operations, numerical comparisons, you have to use any, EQ, less than equal to LE. Okay, yeah, so that's the difference. Now see, if I give this 0 0, please see this carefully. Please see the run now carefully. So if I give 0 here, it says failed because this is doing a string comparison. Got it? That's why it failed. Now see, what if I give 0 0? It passed. So if I do it, EQ. So it is passing. Okay. Now let's see if we give 0 0, it passes. You got the point, because when at 0 0 will be read as a number, it will be read as 0 only. But when we used double equal to here, that time it did not pass. We'll see just now. Let's again change it to double equal to and again give 0 0. It failed again. Okay, so there is please be very clear on this difference of the operators, and you will find this easily in the this has been discussed a lot in the lectures. We have emphasized this in our assignments also, and even if you don't remember any operators, they are all available in the cheat sheet.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, whatever input from standard input we are taking, firstly it will be taken as a character.
It is a string.
Yes, then it is interpreted as number or string. That depends upon either we are using EQ or equal to equal to.
Definitely, that's what I was mentioning. You got the point.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Yeah.
Sir, just one question. If you are taking a variable, right, where basically if we are using it with dash eq, right, and it will be used as an integer. But if
Yes.
what if the input is float?
So for float, it will take only the integer part, I assume. Just try it. So I will tell you one more thing. Float operations are not directly supported in Bash through fresh. Float arithmetic is not supported through our operators plus minus. If you do $a plus $b, it won't do the float arithmetic. For float arithmetic, we specifically have to use BC, the calculator, Bash calculator. Okay, so through BC command, you give input to BC command, that will do the float arithmetic. If you use eval or if you use double parenthesis or something, then float arithmetic won't work. But currently, don't worry about float arithmetic. Just go through the questions, and we are aware of this fact. And go through all the questions. We even in the OPP1, we have mentioned that it is an integer or a number, because we don't want you guys to uh, think in float arithmetic and use BC. We wanted to keep it a bit easy. But if you are interested in float arithmetic, use BC. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So now coming back. So instead of this operator, we can even use some file operator. So let's say. So this you guys can see on my replit that input file already exists. So -f checks for the file operator. Okay, so these are the operators. These you won't get in any other programming languages. Okay, so this is the power of Bash. Now you can just mention this. Okay, so if file exists, it will say file exists. If we say instead of input, if we mention something output, there's no output file here. Okay, so it's not printing anything because there's nothing in else and there's no output file. Okay, so this is the way you can use file operators. If you want to check if you have read permissions on a file, you can check it this way. If you want to see if the file has write permissions, you can check it this way. So these are the operators. Now coming back to our thing that we were discussing, one more important thing is that when you do equal to these string operations, things are read as string. Okay, now I will tell you that there's no syntax error here, but because of the input, there can be a syntax error, and that is the programmer's fault. That is not, we won't say that there is a fault in the input, and I will tell you how to fix it. Suppose I give the input as, okay, so now I've given the input as 3 space 4. Now the problem is 3 space 4, it is a complete string. The value of var, if you print it here again, echo var, Got it? So what is the value stored in where? 3 space 4. Now, when this variable is expanded, it will print 3 space 4. Now, can you see that there is a syntax error here? Guys, got it what I'm saying?
Yes.
So what is the solution? Can anybody suggest me?
$1.
No, $1 is the command line argument. We want to use where only. Suppose now is there a syntax error? Is there a syntax error now?
No.
No. So what's the solution now? If I want to use where here instead of 3 space 4, what is the solution?
We put it in quotes.
Yes, just put it in quotes. That's it. You won't face syntax errors now. Whatever the input is, that will be read as a string, including the space. Okay, if you give space in brackets, that is part of the string. Now you won't face syntax error with the same input. Got it? It won't match with 0. It will go to failed. That we know, but there is no syntax error here. So this is one more problem that you guys may face as syntax error. Okay. Now coming to the
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, but in this case, we are equating a string variable to an integer variable. Then in any case, it will
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is bash. If you write something that is a string here, that is not a integer. That so you are again thinking in terms of other programming languages that you know. If you write 0, it will not be treated as a integer. Everything in bash is a string until you, even if I write where here, see, if I use where, will it what will be the value of where? Tell me. What will this print?
3 and 4.
No. Let's try this. It will print where itself. What did it print? Got it?
Yes, sir.
So everything in bash is a string. So there are special way where you have to if you want to use a variable, you have to put a $. Then only it becomes a variable. Okay. So this 0, until you use any arithmetic operator, it will be treated as a string. Got it?
Yes, sir. Got it.
But
Yeah.
sir, even if when we are giving input as 3, 4 and just using $var, then after expansion it should be taken as a string only. No? Why it was showing syntax error? Means why it was necessary to put double quotes?
That's what I have shown you. It will write 3 space 4 instead of $var. Okay.
But still it is isn't it a string?
It isn't a string.
Okay.
It is something like you have mentioned 2 strings, where and far. Now how would interpreter know what to compare it with?
Okay, so it will not take as a single character set of characters.
No, it won't. Now if you do it like this, it knows that this is a string. This is the
Okay.
starting of the string and this is the end of the string. That's why if you put if you want to use strings and you put $var, and if even if the input contains a space in that, it won't give a syntax error. And as far as the questions are concerned, we have specified everything in the question that if it is a integer, whatever the if you have to read some command line arguments, if you have to read some variables from stdin, we have specified clearly there that you have to read a string, that you have to read a number or not, whatever. If the string can contain spaces, it cannot contain spaces. Generally, a string can contain spaces. But if we want to make it easier for you, we would mention that it will not contain any spaces. Okay. Yeah. So this is about the brackets. You guys can use this brackets also. Now I would want you guys to try this. So wherever you want to use C-like syntax, you can use double parenthesis. Okay. So personally, I prefer a double parenthesis at a lot of places in the for loop, because I've done a lot of programming in other programming languages, so it is easier for me. So in the for loop also, you can either use single square brackets, double square brackets, or double parenthesis. So if I want to, if I give it like this, yeah, and in double parenthesis, less than equal to, and these will be arithmetic operators. Now let's check it first in the for loop. Sorry, in the if condition. Let's check that. Okay. Let's check this. If this works. Got it? So now, if you now pay attention again. So generally, what is this operator? Is it a string operator or a arithmetic operator? Tell me. You guys can open a cheat sheet on your machine if you want.
So generally it's a string, but using inside double parenthesis, it's
Yes.
interpreted as arithmetic.
Yes. So so if you guys are very comfortable with some other programming languages and you want to use that syntax, always use double parenthesis. But I don't think you would be able to use file operators in this. Okay, so you can mix a combination. If you want to do arithmetic things, always use this. So this way you won't face any issues with mathematical operations. And for file operations and all those, just try a few examples on how to check if a file exists, if a file is readable or not. Just try a few examples. I have shown you one. Okay, so similarly, here you can use equal to also, double equal to. Now it will work only for 10. Variable is less, it's printing whatever we want to print, it will print that. No, it doesn't make sense with the matches with the condition, but this is what I want to show you what's happening. See, so equal to is working now. Yeah. Now let's see if it works with string also. Yes, it works with for string also, for equal to, less than equal to a string, all those. So it will be based on the ASCII value for strings, less than equal to, and all those now. Okay, so now let's see for loop with this. So for guys who are who have done some programming with other languages, they would have used this. In C, generally we use this. Yeah. So what will this do? Yeah, what will be the output? Anybody?
1 to 10.
This is a very simple syntax. Okay. Let's remove this. Yeah. So this is a very simple syntax. Now, if I ask you to do something complicated with this, it's just about the logic here, what you write here. Okay. But if you want to do something with all the files in the current directory, so for I in star, what will this do? Tell me.
Print all the file names.
Yeah, in the current directory,
Yeah.
non-recursively. Not just the file names, even the directory names. Got it? So here you can even give space separated values, I assume. Yes. So generally star is expanded with all the file and directory names in the current directory. So you can even use a command here if you want to operate on all the values of some command. Suppose you want to do this. Let's see if this works. Oh, to execute a command anywhere in the script, just use these quotes. These are not single quotes. So this is the difference between single quotes and the other quotes. Okay, you can use this and then other ways also to run a command. Okay. Okay. So let's see, this works. So this is how you can use a for loop if you want to do arithmetic, and you are more familiar with the C syntax and all those. Use double parenthesis, or you can use these things, the other constructs that we have. Okay. So this is something about the syntax, not everything. Uh, Now let me discuss about the syntax for awk and sed also. So let me share the let me share some the cheat sheet. Let me share the cheat sheet with you first. Just a second, guys. I'm searching for the cheat sheets. Okay, I see. This is the cheat sheet for Bash. So I would want you guys to go through the cheat sheet once before the exam, so that you don't face any difficulties finding the topics later on. So let me do one thing. I will share the upload the actual cheat sheets on the portal in the supplementary contents. We'll upload the PDFs for the 2 cheat sheets that will be available for tomorrow. Okay. So this is not the exact cheat sheet. There are some additional information to this in the cheat sheet. We have added some things that we thought would be required. So I will upload those cheat sheets in the supplementary content after the session. Okay. Now what I wanted to show you is I'm not able to get the more awk and set cheat sheet. I wanted to show you the difference in syntax. See the awks, the syntax about now mostly if you would be using conditions and loops in awk and bash. For awk, the syntax is very similar to any other programming language. But for bash, we have already discussed the syntax, right? And for sed, don't worry that you won't be given very difficult, very complex scripts where you have to use loops or anything. Just practice the grpas in any of the topics. Just practice grpas and everything, and you should be able to score a decent score if you have practiced that much. Yeah, so let me show you the awk cheat sheet that will be available for you. So this is the kind of cheat sheet that will be available for awk and sed. So there won't, the weightage for bash would be not very high in the upcoming exams because we have conducted one OPP entirely on bash. Thus, number of questions that we will be giving from bash and awk and sed is already been conveyed through email. Have you guys received that email notification where we have
Yes, sir.
given you the pattern? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there will be, so basically you have to solve 2 questions from bash and 3 questions from sed and 3 questions from awk. Okay. Now if you see the syntax of awk somewhere uh, for these, so it is very similar to what you use in Python or C. See, can you see that? So don't get confused in with awk and bash when you have to write programs at the same time. Got it? So now let me cover the basics of awk first. Can you see this Replit screen?
Yes, sir.
You can see this, right? So let's discuss in terms of some script only. Let's name it script.awk. Let me rename it to, yeah, it will come at top. Now, generally, if you write some command in awk, you use single quotes. Okay. So that means generally you should avoid single quotes in awk scripts also. That is how its syntax is designed. You can use, but you should avoid. Okay. So let's first this I have created an environment where it will yeah. Okay. So let's put some input here. This is line 1. It has 2 feeds. Then A1, A2, B1, B2, C2. Okay, so this is the 3 lines of input file that we will be using. Input.txt we'll use, not input. Let's delete this also for now. If I just write in the awk script, so print $0, what will this do? Has anybody practiced awk?
Print each line.
Yes. Okay, so let's first discuss a bit more about before going to the blocks. Let me tell you what awk is. Awk is a line by line utilities. I'm explaining this in very simple terms. So awk is a stream editor, we can say a text editor, but for understanding it in simple terms, it reads the input or the file, whatever you want to it to work on, line by line, and every line for awk is a record. Okay, and in every record that or we can say every line, there can be one or more than one fields. Okay, separated by a delimiter. So if you guys are aware of the cut command, there you specify a delimiter. If you don't specify a delimiter in cut command, by default it is tab. And in awk, I suppose by default it is space. Let's check that. Yes, by default it is space. Now $0 is a special variable in, yeah, and please one more very important thing in awk, if you define some variable, you don't need to use dollar before it. Okay, only special variables you have to use dollar before it. Those are $0, $1. Okay, so only the for the fields and records you have to use dollar. So $0 means the entire record, all the fields combined. $1 means first field, $2 means second field, and so on. Okay, and the field separator by default in awk is space. So you can see in this example, see our input file was this separated. So there are 2 fields separated by space. So these are the first fields, A1, B1, C1. You can say first column. If you understand more better in terms of column, try to think in terms of column rather than fields. Okay, you can call columns or fields interchangeably. Now if you want to print only second column, you can do that. Now what if I put a comma here? What is the field separator? By default it is space. Have we changed it? No. What will this print? This is our input, comma separated files. What will this print now?
Error.
No error. It won't print anything because there is no, yeah. Now what will it print? It will print entire file as it is, because the field separator we are using is space. And if you see in every line of input, there is no space here. So this is the first field. This complete is first field. Now there is a way you can define the field separator. And the special variable to define a field separator is fs. Okay, now you got it. It has given on you guys only A1, B1, A2, C2. Now suppose A1, A2, A3, we increase one more field so that we can do some operations here. Now let's do one thing. Let's print $3. What am I doing? I am printing first field and what am I doing? I am printing first and third field. So it has deleted, it has printed first field, then it has printed third field. Now what is this comma? The comma is that comma is similar to any other programming languages where you use give arguments, okay, to the print function. So yeah, you want print to print these arguments, that first is this, second is this, and these arguments will be separated by another field separator. By default the output field separator is space. Can you guys see this?
Yes, sir.
Can you guys see that it has inserted a space between A1 and A3? What if I just mention it like this? It will print A1 and A3. It is not printing a comma here. If you want to print a comma, I think this will work. If you want to print specifically a comma, this will work. Got it? So by default in awk, everything is not a string. If you were in bash and you would have given a comma in echo, that comma would have been interpreted as it is, as a comma only. Okay, so this is the bash code we are running again now. What is it printing instead in place of comma? It is printing as it is. You use a quote or you use it without quote. In bash it will print comma, because in bash until you specify something with special characters, it is a string for bash. Okay, you got the difference? That is not the case in awk. So in awk, if you use a comma without any quotes, that means you are trying to specify different number of arguments to print. That this is one argument, this is another argument. And if you want to print the line again, you can do that. You can print the complete line also. So it will print A1, A3, then complete line, A1, comma, A2, comma, A3. Whatever the original separator was will be used there. Okay. If you want to change the output field separator, the variable built-in variable for that is this. So suppose we want to use output field separator as this. So instead of space, it will print colon. So colon will be only for output field separator. That will be used in place of comma. Got it? Any doubts here? Anybody? Please be responsive, guys.
Sir.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these are built-in variables in bash that you can use for specifying the field separator, the output field separators, and many more. So go through these. Not every variable will be very useful for, but these ones are fs. See, nf will give you the number of fields. Nr will give you the number of record. Not number of records. Number of record, current record. Let me tell you the difference between nr and nf. Now let's me delete this ofs. We are not using ofs too much now. I've given you the use. You can use it however you want. Now let's see what nr and nf means. Okay, firstly let me tell you that there are three types of blocks in awk. So there are three kinds of blocks in awk. First is the begin block, second is a normal block, and third is the end block. Now tell me, can anybody tell me when will this begin block be executed?
before the input is taken from the standard input.
Yes, no, not standard input. Whatever you, wherever, through whatever you specify. In our case, the input is taken from file. Okay, before the scripts. So you are right. Just the thing is that before script start working on the input, this begin block is executed. Okay, got it, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And this block is executed for each line. This block without begin or end, this will be executed for each and every line, each and every record of the file. And this block is executed at the end after the last line of of the file or of the input is processed. Okay, so these are the three things that will be executed. So now let's have some print statements here that will let us know how these are executed. Begin one, and one. Oh, okay. Why is this? Not happening. There's some other error. Okay, because of this hash. Can we print anything? I have not tried this. I have never tried printing anything from the begin block. Just a second, guys. Let me check what's happening.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to put the curly braces beside begin. Yes. In the end part also.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. So now see what is being printed. Just check that. I think this should work. Yeah, so that it is visible clearly. Okay, so now you can see that how many times between is printed. Even if you don't give anything, let's see how many times between is printed. You got it? So if you give so this is executed before before we start processing any of the line. So this is line 1, this is line 2, this is line 3. Now let's print the whole line so that we know how things are working here. So this example, this printing will tell you how things work in awk, how the program is executed, how your program is executed. Begin block is not important, end block is also not important. You can write a script without that. Okay, but if you write everything, how it will be executed. This is what we want to show. Any doubts in this, anybody? If no doubts, say no doubts.
No, sir.
Okay. So has anybody tried? What will happen with this if I give one more begin?
Yes, sir. Both will be executed.
Yes, both will be executed. And where will this begin to be printed?
After begin one.
After begin one, but before starting any execution of the lines. So all the begin blocks will be combined, executed combined in the same sequence they are written. Suppose I write another end block, what will happen? Now tell me, end 2 will be printed first or end 1?
And 2.
This is how things execute. Got it? I can even write another. Yeah, this is very important. This thing is very important. Now tell me, between 1 will be printed first or between 2? They will be printed interchangeably. Because all this will be executed on one line, then again the same thing will be executed on second record, then on third record. Okay, so all the normal blocks will be combined. So this will be treated as same as this. Okay, if you write one after another, this will be interpreted same as this. Okay, so this is just for understanding. Now let's come to the main things. So now we have specified that field separator is this. And now if you want to see the use of NR and NF. NF. So what is NF? NF is the number of fields. Now let's do one thing. In the last line, let's increase number of fields to 4. Let's see what the output is. So this is the type of experiments you should do. These are very simple experiments. You could do all these in 1 hour or so for each scripting language, and you would be very confident with the scripting language within an hour. You're getting my point? See, what is the value of NF printed for each line? Does this match?
Yes,
For the
sir.
third line, the NF is printed as this. What if I use NR instead of NF? Okay, let's print both NF and NR. First value will be, first value will be NF. No, I actually meant reverse. Let's first print NR. NR is the number of record. So NR is number of record for the current line. So when we are processing the first line, then the NR value of NR is 1. Now if I say that print the complete file with the line number as the first character, then a colon, and then the complete line. So the simple solution is this: you don't have to write even the begin block, you don't have to write the end block. Only if the if you have to print whole line, you don't have to specify field separator. Okay, got it? Got it, guys?
Yes, sir.
So if we have, if you want to print line numbers, we can do this. If you want to work on line numbers, if I say that print only line number 2, can you do that? Can you do that, guys?
So we can apply some condition, if condition.
Yes, you can write a if I say print only third line or second line, you can do that by if NR equal to 2, print $0. It will print only the second line. See, is this the second line? Yes. There is another way. let me tell you the power of this block. You can specify a regular expression or a condition before the first curly braces, like you do, like you write begin and end. You can specify a condition or a regular expression. Then all these statements will be executed only for those conditions. So if I say nr equal to 2, got it? Now this is line number 4, this is line number 5, 6, 7. I want to show you one more thing. So what if I do modulo 2 equal to 0? That means print only the even numbered lines. For even for this for first line nr will be equal to 1, for second line nr will be equal to 2. 2 modulo 2 is 0, 1 modulo 2 is not 0, so first line will not be printed. Third, 3 modulo 2 is not equal to 0, 4 modulo 2 is equal to 0, similarly. So what does this mean? That you are printing on only the lines? Tell me, you are printing only the even numbered lines. So now tell me, if I want you to print only the lines that starts with a character capital C, or that starts with a digit. Yeah. So I want to print only these lines that starts with a digit, not this one, only these lines 4, 5, 6 and 7. Can I do that? Can I specify that here? Just specify a regular expression between these slashes. Okay. So how do you specify starting with a digit? Can anybody tell me? Simple.
Squad.
Simply, you can write, you can give this. Got it? What did it print? Only these lines. It didn't even print the A. Okay. Now this is the regular expression thing. Regular expression concept is a concept that is used in grep, in sed, in awk, anywhere. But the way regular expressions are interpreted, that is same. That's why we emphasized a lot for you to learn the regular expressions. And even in all the programming languages, it would be 95, more than 95%, it would be similar, because they all follow standards. If some programming language doesn't follow standard or want to change some functionality, they will do it. Okay. So regular expressions is a very important concept. Got it, guys? So these are the type of blocks you can use. If you want to do something special for all the lines that starts with a digit separately, and all the lines that starts with alpha, those are alphanumeric. You can do that also. Sorry, alphabets. So here also you can write it in this way. Digit. Okay, it's not taking this. Okay, that we can investigate later. That should work. I am using, I may be using a wrong name. Okay, let's see what this gives. So first line, the starting character was a alphabet. That's why it went to this block. Similarly, for second, third lines. For the fourth line, the starting character was a digit. So it executed this block. So this is the way you can execute. So this is about syntax. Now you know the syntax, you know that these are the variables. Okay, these are the operators that you can use. You can use and, or, in if condition, not. You can use this to compare regular expression inside if condition also. These are the other operators, plus, plus, and minus, minus. Okay, so if you are now you know the syntax, so you have already worked on Python and other languages, so you definitely know the logic. So if you are only facing issues in syntax, if you know these basic things, now you would be able to solve the problems. Got it? So these are the conditions. Got it, guys? Then we'll come to other issues, other problems also. So that's why I'm being fast in for syntax.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Any issues with talk? We'll go to SED.
No, sir.
Okay, nice. So now in SED, if you want to write a script in SED, okay, so SED also is a line by line utility. Okay, so in SED, by default, it prints yeah. So until you specify minus n operation, it will print all the lines. And once you specify minus n operation, it will print only the lines that matches according to the command. Got it? So these are the commands that are being actions that are being used in that can be used in with SED: P to print, S to replace, D to delete, and so on. Okay, and C is to change the current line, and A is to append below the current line. You can specify a line number with any command. If you want to print first line, you can specify in this way. Got it? What will this do? 1, 3, it will print from 1 to 3. What will this do? From 3 to 5. So these are the ways you can use. Now if you want to, so let's do one thing. Let me again remove this minus n option. If you want to see the replacement, so until you use a P and there's no minus n option, other commands will print the line only once. So once you use the P, by default SED prints all the lines, and it also executes the command. So if you use a P inside, P is for printing, so it will print those lines also. So now let's see, 3 to 5 it will print twice because we have removed the minus n option. So 1 to 3, then again 3 to 5, and then again 4 and 5, they are printed twice. Third line is printed twice, fourth is printed twice, fifth is printed twice. Got it? This is how SED works. Now let me tell you one more important thing for SED. So let's do this. What will this do? Can anybody tell me?
Delete.
Delete the second line.
Delete only the
Delete the
second line.
second.
Now I will tell you a very important concept. What will be the output now? This is a script, SED script. What will be the output now? How many lines will it print?
Second and third.
Second and third will be deleted. So please listen very carefully. In SED, all the lines are processed on the first command, then the second command processes all the lines. This is how it happens. So after processing the first command, whatever be the output, it becomes input for the second. Did you get my point? guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So please remember this. Okay. Okay. Let's. No, for this is not happening. Why is this not happening here? Let me show you with replace it. Let's replace a comma with space. What will this do? This will replace comma with space. Now, why is it replacing only first one? Because we have not specified any. Okay, so though actually those keywords are added in the cheat sheet. Those are not available here, but you will get that in the exam. So like G is for global substitution. It will substitute all the occurrences. If you don't give G, it means it will only replace the first occurrence. If you want to replace only the second occurrence, how will you do it? This way. Specify a number. It has replaced only the second comma. Got it, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
See, so in replace, actually this happens. Yeah, but not with the line numbers. It may not happen. Now, what will be the output? I think first and second both will be replaced. Yes, first and second was replaced, not the third, because when we replace the first comma, okay, after replacing the first comma, this becomes the first comma of every line. Got it? So next time when the same command is executed, again, now if I do this, only one comma will be replaced, this one and the initial ones. Got it, guys? So this is how this works. Now let's come to how you can specify to. Yeah, there's one more way to print every fifth line. Okay. To print every fifth line, I think this should work. Let's have yeah, first, second. Now from this you can see which is the fifth line. So if this is the fifth line, this is printed twice. Nine will also be printed twice. Now I've changed the input. 9 will also be printed twice. If you are not able to understand this, let me print a -n. Now run it. So this means starting from line 0, print every fifth line. Okay. Starting from line 0, print every third line, which is every third line means first is this, second is this, third is this. Got it, guys?
So the line number starts from 0 or from 1?
We can mention it. You can start it from 1. The line number starts from 1. Okay. But 0 means that every fifth line. Now starting from first, if you mention it 1 and 1 tilde 3, that means starting from first, that you have to print first. Then every third line, then first, second, third is this. Then first, second, third is this. Got it?
Yes.
Now tell me. So this is nothing. This is nothing related to syntax. What will be the output of? What will be the difference in output of these two commands? So these are not executed one after another. I'm just asking you. So if either this or this. Yeah, tell me. Will there be any difference in the output of these two commands? Or if not, what will be the difference? And if there's no difference, why there's no difference?
It will be same.
It will be same. Tell me why.
So So because the first one it will be start printing from the third line.
Yeah.
And for the second it will start in the third line, but after that again it will end over there only.
So these are same. These two commands are exactly same. Let me run these two commands for you. This is the output. Let me run again manually so that we don't lose the output above. Okay. So you can see that these are same. So this, so you now you get what is the meaning of this? Starting from whatever number you have mentioned, starting from that number of line, every third line, every nth line, whatever number you give. So this is how these commands work. Okay. I is to insert, if I say that dollar is for the last line. If you want to work only on last line, you can do that. Print only the last line. It has printed the last line. Got it? Got it, guys? Now let me remove this minus n. So set is very easy. Now if I ask you to append something after first line, so there is a grpa related to this. Okay, got it. A is for append after and I is for append before. You got the difference, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I is to append before, A is to append after. Now you can give here any number or you can give here dollar, last line also. If you give here dollar, that is append before the last line. In the second last line, you can append it this way. Okay, got it? So these are the things you need to take care. And for the numbering thing, yeah, now I know that we were trying to delete that line. That was 2D. It's not working because line number is same for the complete input. That won't change. So it will delete only second line even if you give 2 times. Only in the case of if you change something in the line, that will be taken as input for the second command. But you have specified a line number, that won't make the whole document will not change. That's why this is not having any effect. Twice. Got it? Only the second line will be deleted, not the third line. In case of replace, we have seen that the first replace, see, if you do it something like this, if you replace C with D globally, it replaced all the C's. Now what if I give a small c? Will this work? It didn't replace. Why? Because it is case sensitive. To make it case insensitive, I can put a symbol I. Now it replaced D. Even if there is a C in this line, it will replace this C also. The small c also is replaced, capital C is also replaced. Got it? How to make it case insensitive? Okay. Now what if I change, look, let's first see what is the output here. Now I will add another line. Let's change D to E. You got my point? For a line, if you give a line number, specific line numbers doesn't change from one command to another command. It is same for the whole script. Even if you have deleted the line number will be the same for each command. It won't change. But if you have changed something in a line, that will be taken as an input for the output of this command will be taken as an input for this command for each line, because how in sed also it is executed same as awk. All these commands are executed for one line. Then all these commands one by one are executed for second line. Got it? You can see this very easily if you give print 2 times. Okay, let's use a minus n again. So if this is executed for the complete file, then this is executed for the complete file. Then how will the file be printed? First the whole file will be printed, then again the whole file will be printed. But if these two commands are executed for first line, then these two commands are executed for second line, then again these two commands are executed for third line. How will it be printed? First line twice, then second line twice. Okay, and this is the way it is printed. First line twice, second line twice. So instead, all, make this as a note, all the commands you give in script are any doubts in this, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, make this as a note. So you just need to now combine things and just write your scripts. Now I will tell you just a simple concept of let me explain you a simple concept of grouping. So have you, do you guys know grouping? That is mentioned in the cheat sheet. We will share it today. So do you guys know about grouping?
No, sir.
So let me explain you the same kind of example that is explained in the cheat sheet that you will have. Now you can run this set. So for grouping, you use, you define anything within these brackets becomes a group. Use the group. Okay. Now in bash, you have to use slash to escape brackets, because otherwise brackets are special in regular expression. That's why you have to use some, you have to escape them. Yeah. So suppose you specify something like a dollar. But if you want to, if you don't give any regular expression, if you just give a string in grouping, that doesn't make sense, because strings you can anyways replace with anything. So grouping is used if you want to, if you don't know what is followed by, suppose if you want to $44, anything followed by a dollar, that is any number. This means any number. Is it visible or not? Let me do it this way. Okay. So firstly, let me show you what will this match. Okay, so this is our input. So this is our input. Now we'll use this input to grab command. Okay, one more problem is there in this input. Dollar is not treated as, dollar is treated as a special symbol. It is searching for $4 as a variable, $5 as a variable. You got it? That's why it's not printing that. Now it will print it. So this is our input now. Just don't Don't think about this. Just see that this is our input. Wherever we will use this command, our input will be this to the next command. What will this print? Tell me, guys. Can anybody tell me what will this print?
The last digit 435.
The last digit? No, this is grep.
No.
Grep will print the lines which matches the pattern.
Yes.
Which lines will match the pattern?
First and last.
First and last
Last.
will match the pattern. Use grep option pattern file. What's happening? I don't know. We need to escape this also. Let's use something else other than dollar. Here we'll have to do a lot of escaping. Let's not get into that for understanding. Let's use capital R. The same that capital R is for rupees. Okay. Okay, first let's see what the input is. This is the input. I've changed dollar to R just for understanding. Now what will this pattern match? This pattern will match R followed by any integer, just single integer. If it is there, the pattern will match and that those lines will be printed. Second line is not printed. Now you got it. Now let's understand how to use this concept in SED and for grouping. First, we should understand the regular expression that we are using so that we don't get stuck in the regular expression part. We focus on the grouping part. We have to. So I said whatever is enclosed in these will become a group. Okay. Now this is our group. So this will match this expression R and any digit. This will match R4 and R5, not R44 and R55, just R4. R4 and R5 it will match. Now what we want to do with R4 and R5? If you want to print it twice, we can do that. Simply /1/1. It will print it twice. Got it? See, R4 is replaced with R4 is replaced with R4 twice. So wherever this grouping means, so you didn't know what will be the number after R. In that case, you will have to do grouping. If you knew that it will always be R4, suppose you want to replace only R4, you can do that twice. You can mention it this way. To replace R4 with R4 twice. You can do this, but it won't replace all the patterns. So if you want to replace it, if you want to work on something that that is not a single string, you have to work on a pattern. And if you want to work on that value, you have to group it so that you can use that value in the replacement part. So this is try to understand this. This is very easy. Are you getting this? This one replaces R4 also and R5 also, because whatever pattern this will match. In the first line, this pattern matches R4. Okay, so R4 becomes group 1. So /1 in this case is equal to R4 for first line. For line 3, for line 1, the first group is R4. For line 3, the second group value is the group 1 value is R5. You got it, guys? Hey.
So writing /1 twice means it will be repeated double.
What will be repeated double? This one. Whatever you found. Whatever you found. Okay. If you write it like this, /1 only once. If you write it only once, that means it will give the same output. It didn't do anything. So this is our input. Got it? If you want to put something else, so yeah, now suppose if you want to reverse the R, you want to put R and after 44 you want to put R, and after 55 you want to put R. Can you do that? First let me tell you how to, for it will take all the numbers that are repeated after 4 and after this, after R. So now I have changed the input. Let me clear it first. So this is our input. And now what we are doing, suppose we repeat it twice. What will be repeated twice? What is the pattern here? R followed by one or more digits. This means one or more. This means zero or more. This complete means one or more. Got it? So this will repeat the whole number. R44, R44. Now suppose if I make it, keep it outside R. The R is outside the group, but it is part of the pattern. R is part of the pattern, but it is outside the group. Now what will be printed? Can anybody tell me? It will match the same thing. R is part of the pattern. Only 44 will be repeated twice, and only 555 will be repeated twice. So any number that is found after capital R, 23 won't match because R is not before 23. R is not before 23. That's why 23 didn't match our pattern, but 44 matched our pattern. And now we didn't specify R in our output. That's why R is not there in the output. Got it? So tell me, can anybody tell me a solution if I want to put R after 44? If I want to output something like this 44R for the first line, how can I do that? Tell me.
We can make
Think.
two groups, I think, and then reverse it. We can make two groups.
No, R is fixed. R is fixed. Why do you want to make two groups? You can do that way, but R is fixed. You can do it in a easier way. R is outside your group. The group value of the group R is outside the group. 44 matched it. Now what it is not printing, R is not printing. Just print R in the
So after that, we can-
output. So it will reverse it. Got it? Guys, you got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You guys, you will have to practice these examples yourselves also to understand it better. Okay, if you want, if you have if you want to have more than two groups, you can do it that way also. See, so if I put the first R, mention first R as a group, that will also work. And instead of second R, I will just write /2. So this is the other way that just a second. Yes, actually we have to reverse it now. The first group now becomes R because for R is mentioned in the left side. Got it? So now we have to reverse it. It has reversed. Got it? Now instead of R, I use some other, for rupees it is used R, and for yen it is used Y. Suppose for rupees the symbol is R, and for yen it is Y, and you want to work on rupees and yen all both. Then what will you do? In this example,
A to Z.
we mention R or Y. In square brackets, if you give R and Y, that means R or Y. Both are okay, but only one character. This does not mean R and Y together. Do you know the regular expressions, guys? Right? In square brackets,
sir.
0 to 9 means any one character from 0 to 9. Square brackets R and Y means any one character, either R or Y. That will be the first group. And our second group will be any digits followed by R and Y. Okay, now let me first, yeah. So now let me make it a bit, so suppose Here also you have a Y, but there is a letter after A, so it won't change YA. Got it? Y will match, but the second regular expression, the second part won't match. That's why this regular expression completely won't match. Here, this is not match of our pattern because Y is not followed by a digit. Y should be followed by one or more digits. That is our pattern. R or Y should be followed by one or more digits. Then we are good. We found the pattern, and we found the pattern only R followed by 2 digits here, R followed by 3 digits. Yeah. Got it, guys? This is not a match. So I have changed the input here. Don't go with exactly with this input. In this, I have not put a Y here. I have put a Y here. But so now you understood the grouping, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the concept that I wanted to cover based on the doubts of many people. But now let's go to the individual doubts. Start discussing those. If you have any concerns or anything, let's discuss those. So was this session helpful? Did you guys
Yes,
learn
sir.
anything?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Very
Yes, sir.
helpful.
Okay. But please remember, uh, my efforts won't help you until you practice these things yourself. Okay, guys. So at least give a few minutes to practice yourselves. So once you start practicing the simple problems, you will build a lot of confidence, and then you can go to the other problems. And there, I am very sure you won't experience difficulties in difficult problems if you learn syntax, because here most of you guys reported that you are facing issues in syntax. Okay, so get better in syntax, get confident in syntax, just practice easy problems as much as you can for all three, bash, awk, and set, and then go to the bigger problems. There the syntax would be same. Now you just have to counter the logic that you already know. You have worked in Python, you have worked in other programming languages, you already have a logical thinking. So once you get confident in syntax, you won't face any difficulties. Otherwise you will get frustrated if you directly jump to the bigger problems, and your syntax is not working. Okay, so now let's go ahead. Any questions from your sides? If you guys are unable to manage time during exam, we can discuss that. Anything?
Just one quick question regarding the delimiters. So instead of the forward slash, we can use any other delimiter, right?
Delimiter
Uh,
for your writing your commands,
yeah.
you can use, but don't try, because there's not a lot of time. So if you have not practiced a lot of set, don't try to use other delimiters. You can use any delimiter. The general practice is to use slash. Okay. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, we will upload the cheat sheet, man. Because we will upload the cheat sheet on the portal in supplementary section. I will get this done within 15 minutes of this session is over.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Go ahead, Arsha.
I was asking that in the exam or in the portal, I think geoc is used, but in Replit, I think amok is used.
Yes.
Because that amok, I think NaN exists, not a number exists, but in geoc it will throw an error.
Yes.
When not a number comes.
Yeah.
Then we have to
So,
practice in that way.
so there is nothing. So if you practice in amok, you won't face any issues with geoc, because there is nothing new in amok, that nothing in amok that is not in geoc. Geoc is an enhancement extension. Okay, so everything that is in amok will be there in geoc. So
Yes,
even if you practice in amok, your syntax won't fail in geoc. It's just that some features are not available in amok, and you won't be able to do that. You won't be able to practice those things. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
what
guys.
sir, I was asking that some things like I have told that if we do divider 0, that AMOC will give not a number in end, and it will give a string. It will convert to a string, and when we do it in geoc, it will throw an error. This thing we need.
So let me tell you. So we take care of these things if there is something which is ambiguous, and in GRPS and PPS we want you to learn as much as you can. But if there is something ambiguous, we try to avoid it in exams. So don't worry about that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other doubts, guys? So how's the time management? Can anybody tell me if anybody faced issues with time management and where they got stuck? Anybody? The time was sufficient? Okay, anyways, I will tell you my way of doing things. So as soon as you read the question, give 1 or 2 minutes thinking of the logic. If you can, this is for the harder ones. If for easy ones, it's not a big deal. But for the harder problems where a bigger logic is required, just give a thought. If you completely in terms of variables, give it a thought in your mind that what variables, how you will use the variables, and like will this be sufficient? Will you how will you parse on those variables? If you have created a list, how many passes you have to go through that list? So if you are confident of some logic, then proceed with that question. Otherwise, leave that question and proceed to the other one. So first complete the ones those you are confident of. Take care of this thing, because if you get stuck in one problem and uh, somehow you are able to complete it just before the exam is over, and you just complete one problem, then it won't help you in getting good marks. Okay, so first give 1 or 2 minutes to a problem. You will be 90% sure, or more than that, you will be sure that you will be able to solve this. Then go ahead and solve those first, whichever you are confident on. Then go to the less confident problems. Okay, so there is a question on chat. How to see the cheat sheet while attending whenever I go. So previously in OPP 1, whatever the alerts were generated, we have ignored that. But in this OPP, you won't even fetch that issue, because we have configured those as instructions the same way instructions and COC are configured. So you won't, that is not a new PDF now. Yeah, any other question, guys? Okay, so there's one more question on the chat. How can I use user input in awk for loop for? Okay, so Sandeep, try to search for getline kind of command. Try to like understand how to use that. You can use that getline command to read input from stdin. Okay, you can use that even to you read take input from another file. Yes, Umesh, we have embedded it on the exam portal. You won't find a separate PDF this time. That is given you as a lesson or assessment that you can click there and it will open there itself. So last time we were facing issues with some hard limit on HTML size. in terms of the configuration, and we have found a way this time. Okay, so but don't focus, Sandeep, I would say don't focus on the concepts that are not being discussed in either the lectures or in the GRPAs and PPAs or in any of the, I would say, the Solve with Us sessions, because if you focus on such concepts, there's no limit to it, and we cannot cover everything. So if in any case we cover something, if we want you to use something that is not covered in any of the lectures or assignments, we would specifically mention that command or that concept in the question as a hint. We will describe each and everything that you would require for that. So don't worry. Okay, guys. So I don't see any more questions, and let's utilize the time for practice. So please go ahead and practice as much as you can, and see you next time in the next session. I will now we can close the session, right? If there are no doubts, I will close the session. Are we
Thank
good,
you,
guys?
sir.
Okay, good day, guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, happy learning. Bye bye.